telling Rossi now, look at that, you saw that brilliant on-board time there. Rossi had a good look down at his screen there on his dashboard. Opponent info, slick tyres. So he now knows that Marquez and Crutchlow are out on the slick. The same message goes to Maverick Vinales.
The virtual pitboard is new for this year, but it grew from the race direction dashboard signals that we've had for several years now, like a red flag or a black flag, something like this. And when the team saw this system, they requested that they could send messages, their own messages, to their own rider to give them information. Each team has a computer in their box and they can send their own signals, which go to timekeeping and onto the bike. There's 10 categories of messages about information for the session, how long to run, things like that. Information about their competitor, who is behind you, how far behind, who is in front, how far, what lap time are they doing. There's information about the bike, which tyres the other people are using and which tyres you are using. About the spare bike in pit lane, which tyres are on the spare bike, when is the time to change. Suggestion to the rider about change the mapping for the engine. So there's information about their own team, there's information about the competitor teams.
During the race, we inform him about the gap with the rider behind, but during the practice, we inform him about the position, especially in free practice, that is the time to qualify. Also, when we have to change the tire, put the new tire, we send this kind of message to back to the garage.
Always in practice, we suggest most mapping changing, because as we do any run, after a run, we check the data. And we don't have so much time when the rider is in the garage to check all the data. Therefore, while the rider is doing the out lap, for example, or even making one lap, we understand what is the best map for these conditions, especially grip level. So we work with the power, traction control, anti-wheelie. So we suggest the rider use this map because this is the best condition to use in this moment. At the same time, also in race, we suggest to him to change mapping systems.
Usually we send before the long straight, the back straight, so he can see properly. For example, what's happening in Austin, that Iannone was catching him the last laps. We send a message that the gap was shorter and shorter, and he pushed more the last 2 laps. So, okay, it helped. In the flag-to-flag race, this system is really useful, because in case another rider changed the tire before us, for example from wet to dry, and this rider improve a lot the lap time, we can inform directly the rider, come back to the garage and change the tire. Otherwise, he have to decide alone, but he cannot see the lap time. So for this kind of things, I think is more useful.
Oh, here we go. Look, we've had the suggested mapping 8, the famous mapping 8 then to Jorge Lorenzo.
At this stage, I'm honest. At this stage, not. We don't have any plan to do any tricky things. But maybe in the future, you can use some kind of code to let understand the rider. Yes, do this or do that.
We're really happy, and it's getting more and more acceptance. The riders and the teams are understanding more what they can do with it. In last year when we were testing, many riders said, you know, I won't use it. And now they're using it because they can see the possibility. So it's growing all the time.